I went up to my cabin on a Friday with the intention of just going to check out this bog to see if there was any bake apples on it. It got a little dark and I decided to take a shortcut through the woods.
He was submerged in water for the whole week.
I heard I was a diabetic with no pills.
Florence Sweetapple didn't think she'd ever see her husband Chess alive again.
Hi, I'm Chess.
Hi, I'm Flo.
6 years ago, I went missing while picking berries in Millertown, and this is my story.
The 74-year-old St. John's man has been missing for a week after he didn't return from a berry picking trip.
When I went into the bog, it was orange, so I had a Ziploc bag, and I just started picking and picking and picking, and I guess it got a little dark, and I decided to take a shortcut through the woods, which I've done numerous times. But anyway, it didn't work out that way, so I spent the night on the bog, just over the bog where I was picking. And the next morning, my intentions was to walk down this woods road to where my truck was.
He was walking, telling me all about this, and he was walking around this pond, and it was a flat rock, and he stepped on it, and he zoomed right out in the pond he went. And he had to swim in and get back up again.
My two arms, I must have 1,000 mosquito bites. I had a Helly Hansen jacket. Sometimes I put that over me, sometimes if the water was too, I lay it down in the bog. But I heard I was a diabetic with no pills, and I knew if I had something sweet, the sugars in the bake apples kept me from going low, and I had this little cup, and I used to drink that bog water, and that's what kept me going. I think it's about the third day I must have just took a diabetic coma, passed out.
He always called me when he'd get there, and he didn't. And so I was calling him all that night, and I kept getting a recording. The person you were trying to reach is either outside or has their phone turned off. So I called my friend. She said, well, my husband and I will take a run up to look for him. So when she went to the cabin, she called me on her cell. She said, all your sheds are open, but your cabin is locked. I said, put a little note on the door for me and say, you better call Florence because she's going to murder you. And the Mounties found a note. So now it's a crime scene. Our cabin and our truck was all roped off as a crime scene. Now that's only a figure of speech. Anyway, I had the Mountie here for 2 days with me, and asked me all kinds of questions. And on the second day, he realised no, there was no problem. Then we left it at that. They were supposed to be looking for Chess, but the Mounties were told that he never went down this bog. They gave up looking, and now my son was overseas, and I didn't want to go letting him know about this. And when he came back and he got a hold of the Mounties, he said, get in and look for my father.
But I was after walking about 1.5 miles up a pond. After the third day, I was probably getting a little delusional, so I didn't see or hear anything. The 7th morning they came in, and they had the mayor of Millertown, and as they were searching all around, they moved up where I was. And they're on their way out again, and Mr. Green, he walked over to me and he said, Chess, we got you, we got you. And my words to him was, what took you so long to find me? I used an expletive, but I won't say that here.
What was it like to get that phone call?
Oh, my son sat there and I sat in my chair. And we were talking about, he said, now Mom, this is 7 days, so you got to make up your mind what you're going to do. And with that, the phone rang. It was the Mounties in Grand Falls. And he said, Florence, I want to let you know we found your husband. I froze. I didn't say nothing. I was waiting for him to tell me what was wrong. And he said, he's alive. And my son jumped up and he grabbed me. I say he could hear me in Grand Falls.
Oh, it was emotional. Especially when you bring up, when she just, it was bad then, but no, it was very emotional.
I got to have faith in God, and He made it.
After the ordeal up in the woods, I come back and we drove up to the cabin. I said, just well, get rid of it.
Now, when we went out and closed the door, we never looked back. We just kept going. By now we got the house in Florida.
So we go every November.
It's beautiful. I mean, I just love it down there. I mean, every day the sun shines.
Well, I'm out in the garden all day long. All day long. We got some nice tropical bushes and cactuses.
And 3 big palm trees in.
We got it pretty tropical looking.
That's his life. That's what he loves doing. We do a lot of visiting down there. We got friends in Anna Maria Island. We go down and spend a week with them. And down in St. Pete, we got nice friends down there.
Gentleman as I am.
Thank you. I had a stroke the winter. Oh my gosh, what a going over I got. But she's over this, huh? It was a hard time. I went through a hard time. Mm-hmm. Every doctor that I had could not believe that I never got no side effects. And I said, oh, you think I'm a miracle? I said, you want to hear his story?
Do you still berry pick today?
No.
He definitely don't pick big
No,
big
I
apples
don't go
anymore.
picking berries anymore.
Just look at the little babies down there now.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone now, today, who says they're going to go out berry picking?
Go pick them. Just go pick them. But take your cell phone with you too.
And turn it on.